There's a kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. It lives deeper than your muscles, deeper than your thoughts. It's the tired of someone who has been quietly watching the world for a very long time. You might know it. That feeling of always being a little on guard. Not anxious, exactly. Just ready. Like you're standing in a room with the lights low, listening for footsteps, even when no one is there. You can be in a calm place, a peaceful house, a kind relationship, a quiet afternoon, and still, inside, something stays awake. It's not loud. It doesn't panic. It simply doesn't fully rest. You might not even question it. You might think this is just how you are. Observant, sensitive, a little worn down. But the truth is, this way of being started long before you had words for it. It began in a time when feeling safe wasn't something you could count on. If you grew up without feeling safe, you probably became very good at reading invisible things. You notice tone before words. You feel tension before it's named. You can sense when someone is drifting away even if they're still sitting right beside you. You don't just listen to what people say. You listen to what they don't say. You might be the one who adjusts first, who softens their voice, who changes the subject, who makes things easier for everyone else. Not because you're weak, but because your nervous system learned that harmony was a kind of shelter. You might also feel strangely uncomfortable when things are too calm. When everything is quiet, a part of you waits. For a shift, for a problem, for something that needs your attention. You don't always feel afraid, you just feel alert. You might struggle to rest without guilt, to relax without feeling like you're missing something important, to enjoy peace without wondering how long it will last. In relationships, you might love deeply but carefully. You might keep a small part of yourself hidden just in case. Just in case things change, just in case someone leaves. And even when people care about you, you might still feel alone inside. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because you learned a long time ago how to hold yourself. You probably don't call any of this trauma. You just think of yourself as someone who's strong, capable, maybe a little tired. But there is a story behind this tiredness, and it deserves to be understood. When you were young, safety wasn't just about being physically okay. It was about feeling held, seen, emotionally protected. It was about knowing that if something hurt, someone would notice. If you were scared, someone would steady you. If you were overwhelmed, someone would slow the world down for you. But maybe in your world, that didn't happen consistently. Maybe the people around you were loving but distracted, or overwhelmed, or unpredictable, or emotionally distant. So you learned something very important, very early. I need to pay attention. You learned to watch faces, to listen to voices, to feel the atmosphere in a room. You learned when it was safe to speak, when it was better to stay quiet, when to make yourself smaller, when to become helpful, when to disappear a little. This wasn't a flaw, it was adaptation. Your young mind did what it always does. It found a way to survive. So it stayed awake, it stayed alert, it stayed tuned in to everything around you. And over time, that alertness didn't feel like something you were doing. It felt like who you were. What you call overthinking is actually deep perception. What you call sensitivity is emotional fluency. What you call being on edge is a system that learned how to keep you safe. You became someone who could feel what others missed, someone who could navigate complexity, someone who could sense danger before it arrived. That is not weakness. That is intelligence shaped by necessity. You didn't become this way because you were fragile. You became this way because you were aware, and awareness kept you alive, emotionally, psychologically, sometimes even physically. The part of you that watches, that listens, that stays ready, it's the part that protected you when no one else could. It deserves gratitude, not shame. But here is the quiet truth. The part of you that stayed alert is not all of who you are. Underneath the vigilance, there is someone who wants to soften. Someone who wants to rest without watching the door. Someone who wants to feel held instead of holding everything together. You are not only the one who adapted, you are also the one who deserved to be safe. You are not broken for needing comfort. You are not weak for wanting ease. You are not wrong for longing to finally exhale. The real you is still there. The you who is curious, gentle, creative, deeply feeling. That part didn't disappear. It just learned to wait. If you recognize yourself in these words, let that recognition be soft, not as a diagnosis, not as a label, but as a quiet understanding. You became who you had to be in order to survive. And now, slowly, you are allowed to become who you truly are. You don't have to stay on guard forever. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove that you deserve peace. You belong here, exactly as you are.